Hello, children. Children, do you know who is a potter? What does he do? Yes, a potter is a person who makes pots, dishes, lamps, etc. out of baked clay and often sells them to earn a living. In Hindi, we call him a kumhar. Today, I, Kahani Wali Nani, am going to tell you a wonderful story about two pots. And the story is the friendship of two pots. Children, you can hear more such interesting stories on my YouTube channel. Subscribe the channel and do press the bell icon so that you never miss a new story from me. If you like the story, press the like button and you can share the story with your friend by clicking on the share icon. And now the story, The Friendship of Two Pots. Once upon a time, there lived a potter named Biju in a small village. Biju used to make pots and he used to sell them in the market. One day, a man, Bansi, came to buy some pots. Bansi selected a pot and asked Biju, "Have you another pot of the same size? I want two pots of the same size." Biju, the potter, said, "Bansi, I have only one pot of this size. Why don't you buy two pots of another size?" But Bansi insisted, "No, I want this size only." He looked around and said, "Oh, see, there's a pot lying in the corner. How about it? It looks the same size." Biju said, "Yes, that one is of the same size, but it is useless. It has a crack in it." Bansi thought for a moment and said, "No problem. I will buy that pot also." Beju said, "Bansi, water will leak out through the crack. Buy some other pot." But when Bansi insisted again and again on buying the same pot, Beju said, "As you wish," and gave it to Bansi. Now, every morning, Bansi would go to a nearby well and draw water from it. You know what he did? He hung both the pots on two ends of a wooden pole and carried the pots on his shoulder. Now he would draw water from the well, fill the pots, and carry them home. Children, all the way back, water would be leaking from the pot with a crack. And by the time Bansi reached home, it would become half empty. After filling his tank with the water, Bansi would wash both the pots and keep them side by side. After some time, the perfect pot would often laugh at the one with a crack. It would say, "Oh, how funny you look with that crack. And see how much water is wasted through that crack. You are a useless thing, useless for nothing." With so much effort, our master draws water from the well, fills us, and what do? You just waste the water. I think, but I'm not only thinking, but I'm sure that our master is not aware of the crack in you. Otherwise, he would have surely thrown you out of the house. Hearing all this, the pot with the crack would become sad. He would feel guilty and ashamed. The pot would think, "Yes, I am of no use. I am not giving good service to my master." Then he would always be depressed and ashamed. The perfect pot would always tease him about his weakness and say, "See how nice I am. I am perfect," and would laugh at the other pot. 2 years passed by. One day, while Bansi was filling the pot with water, the pot with the crack gathered courage and said, "Master, I'm sorry. I do not serve you well. The crack in my body wastes all your effort. Half of the water is wasted. I think you are not aware of the crack in me. Water oozes out of this crack, and by the time we reach home, half the water is wasted. I think you should better throw me away and buy a new pot. Bansi smiled, patted the pot, and said, "Who said you are useless and that everyday water is wasted? Today, while we return home, just see the path carefully, and then you will understand your worth." That day, while returning home, Bansi stopped and said to the pot with a crack, "Look, do you see these beautiful flowers on this path?" "Yes, very beautiful. But, master, what is the connection of my crack with these flowers?" Bansi laughed and said, "See, first of all, I knew that you had a crack in yourself when I bought you. And then I planted some flower seeds on this side of the road. And ever since then, every day you have been watering them with water that fall from your cracks. See how it was used? And these plants grew very soon. And on the other side, there are no flowers because no water is dripping from the other pot. And do you know what I do with these flowers? I offer some of them to God, with some I decorate my house, and the rest I sell to the people coming to the temple. So, most of the flowers which you have watered are offered to God. Such a great thing is it. So now don't lament, don't be ashamed of this weakness of yours. Instead, you should feel proud. Now, children, all the while, who was hearing this? Yes, the perfect pot. He felt sorry for his bad behavior. And when they reached home, when water was emptied and they were kept side by side, the perfect pot said, "My friend, I am very, very sorry. Please forgive me for my rudeness, for my bad behavior. I made a fun of you, of your weakness, of the crack in you. I hurt you. Now I know, I understand that you are more worthful, more great than me. Yes, I have learned a good lesson today. Henceforth, I will always be a good friend of yours and never make fun of you." The pot with a crack became happy, and henceforth both the pots became good friends and worked happily thereafter together. So, children, you must have also well understood that we should not make fun of others' weakness. Maybe this weakness will make them greater. And so, children, how do you find this story? The friendship of two pots. And we'll meet you again next week with a new story. Till then, goodbye. Take care.